Welcome to Made in Walker, the podcast that connects you to the people, the stories, and the ideas shaping our community. From local innovators to everyday change makers, we're diving deep into what makes Walker a great place to live, work, and grow. Here's your host, Nicole DiDonato.
Do you have an idea that you want to bring to life, but you don't have the right kind of tools to make it happen? Well, the Grand River Makerspace is a place to learn, connect, and, of course, use tools, create some pretty unique items as well. And we have Josh and Chris from Grand River Makerspace to join us. Thank you so much for being here.
Hey, thanks, Nicole.
Yes, and we have a lot of your products here, things that you can make as well. But first, let's just tackle the big question: is to what exactly is a makerspace?
Well, kind of the layman's term for people in my experience.
Yeah.
So I ran one at Muskegon Community College for a little while and always had to sell it to people, right? Trying to explain this weird thing to people. Mm-hmm. But essentially think of like shop class back in the day, which depends on the generation nowadays. Some people don't have shop class. So like, what? Yeah. Like, and combine it with like a gym membership model where you get access to like tools. You know, the shop class is a little different, right? We got 3D printers and laser cutters and CNCs, but we do have a traditional wood shop. Stuff like that, more the traditional kind of making in your garage. Yes. And this is actually located in Walker. I forgot to mention that, which is why we have you guys on. But of course, it's an awesome space to bring people together and just connect and to just let your creativity flow. And you're talking about this place that is like a gym membership for tools. Why did you want to bring this to the area?
You know, I think one of our big goals is to really kind of create a new third place for people to come to in Walker, Grand Rapids, Comstock Park area. And so, you know, we're really here to kind of be a place to come, hang out, maybe learn how to use a new tool or build something, maybe teach something to somebody that, you know, or we also have people that just kind of come in the evenings and just visit and hang out and see what people are doing. And so that's kind of our big goal, is be a third space that's also useful to the community. So yeah, that's kind of really...
Love the items that you've brought. I mean, there's an array of tools that you have. What all exactly can folks take advantage of and play around with?
So one of the cool things that is right up front here, and you can kind of see the Stormtrooper guy. So like this is a local artist. So this is a 3D printed picture. Use a program called HueForge, and it takes a picture and turns it into something that a 3D printer can use. And you can actually essentially digitally paint the models, so we can really bring a local artist like work to life, right? Like it's plastic, it's durable, right? And it brings it to life in a way that's textured and just different from just a normal print.
Yep. Yeah, so we have a 3D print farm at the Makerspace, machines with different capabilities, different sizes. You can see here we can do really big items. This dragon is a contest giveaway we printed beginning of this year, and so check out our Facebook site for information on this one. But we have those capabilities. We also have lasers there, so we have different lasers where we can etch and cut different types of materials. Rock, for example.
Wood is pretty common. Oops.
Yep. We can do wood, leather, some metal.
So one thing that is common in my experience from like having helped start a makerspace in Muskegon is like entrepreneurship, right? Like I didn't have access to a laser. People don't always have access to 3D printers or different types of printers. Like you might have a 10-inch 3D printer at home, but guess what? You can't make a 5-foot dragon on that. So like, I started laser cutting things to sell on Etsy and craft shows and stuff like that. I've seen kids from 12, start laser engraving businesses out of a makerspace to, people that have full-time jobs. Like there were 2 girls that used to work out of the lab that I ran, and they were architects, right? They had day jobs, but they had this like passion for this art, concrete pottery that they were putting together or whatever. And so like they used the makerspace to make the molds and all that stuff. And it's just, it can be used for entrepreneurship, kind of small business support.
Absolutely. Yeah. And in addition to the high technology tools like 3D printers and lasers, we also have a full wood shop. And so we can do anything that you want to do with putting wood together or taking wood apart. We can handle it there. We also have a couple of different CNC machines. And so we can do custom wood carving, And that can also be a route for entrepreneurship as well. So
awesome. And talk about like this membership kind of tiers, how you operate that, and how folks can take advantage at certain levels of them.
Sure. Yeah. The best way to dip your toes in, I tell people this all the time, is basically, attend some of the events. Like come to the open house. Like we have one the first Fridays of every month from 4 to 7. Eventually here, when it gets nice, we'll be doing some cookouts during those. But then, hang out, get to know the feel, and then maybe take a class, right? Sign up for an intro to 3D printing class. We have one this weekend. It'll be after this airs, but we're going to do more in the future. So take a class to come learn how to laser engrave a tumbler, right? Maybe you'll be addicted to it and you'll be like, oh man, I got to come learn this to do other stuff. Yeah. That's kind of like how to try it out. And if you want to become a member, you could sign up for a membership, like a monthly, which is $65 a month, or like $700 for the year. Basically, you get a free month if you pay for a year, or you can sign up for a family membership at $99 a month, or gosh, I forget what it was. It's like $1,100, something like that. You basically get a free month off of it if you buy the year. But then we also have a punch card system. So some people are like a guy this weekend came in and he had a cutting board he was giving away. That he had made. Oh my gosh, it was so beautiful. I wanted to steal it. But he wanted to engrave something on it to give it away at this silent auction for a hunting kind of wetlands preservation organization he's a part of. And so he just get a punch card and he came in, used it, kind of learned the laser a little bit, and he might be back again to do other projects. So
Yep. Love it. You welcome anyone and everyone who wants to learn. I actually took a tour of the place a few weeks ago. Such an inspiration. I'm not really like that technical kind of mechanically minded person or that creative, but it's some place that you can learn as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're open Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. And we also hold open community events too. So we are starting to do an event that we're calling Sunday Crafternoons. That's open to the community. You can just come in, hang out. We provide some tea and cookies, and you just bring some crafts. And last 2 weekends ago, we had a bunch of people doing painting. We had some people doing sewing, and that was a lot of fun. We're also going to be starting game night in Walker. So figuring out what day of the night we're going to have that, or what day of the week. But that'll just be like an open community game night. Come bring some board games. A whole bunch of us there love board games. And so we're definitely excited for that.
Some of us 3D print board games.
Some of us actually 3D print board games. So yeah, come play some Scrabble if you would like.
Really cool. Have you always been like this? Is it, your day or full-time jobs? Was this something that you were always into and thought we need to get together and make this into something bigger for the community?
Like my personal journey, I was like working in a desk job as an engineer, and then like took this role at the college, and I kind of got addicted to it. I went back to a normal job, and I was like, man, looked at my wife, I was like, this is not for me. I'm like, I gotta, so then I started launching my small business stuff, and then I'm like, I saw the transformation that happened in Muskegon, and I'm like, the energy, it's just addicting once you're a part of something like this. It's just addicting. You want to learn the next thing, and then like people come, like he said, just hang out, just see what people are doing, because you never know who's going to walk in with like a cool project. Like somebody brought in I don't play pickleball, but somebody made an automated pickleball launcher. They're a member at the Makerspace. They 3D printed all the parts. They did the electronics, and they bring it in to show it off. Like,
Yep, it's very cool. Yeah, my career has been in IT for a long time, and making things has kind of given me a way to like use some of my skills for my career, but actually make something tangible and, make sometimes something that's not technical at all. And that's kind of what I really like about it. And, for me, it's really about building this community that I feel like has, we've kind of lost a little bit since COVID. And, having third spaces come back, I think is really important.
Very much so.
Having a place to go and hang out.
Yes. And we don't have room to show it right now, but you made an adaptable type wheelchair. Tell us about how that all came about and what a special story that is too.
Yeah. So Chris actually knew a family from Muskegon that had a need. And a couple of us at the Makerspace had recently learned of this project called the Toddler Mobility Trainer by Make Good NOLA. They're based out of New Orleans. And it is a free design that you can download and print and assemble. And so we contacted the family and just kind of did some planning. And through kind of generosity of some of our volunteers and members, got all of the materials donated that we needed to make it. and donated their time to actually produce the parts, and then had the family in, and we gave their daughter a mobility trainer. We technically can't call it a wheelchair because it's not like a medically approved device, but it's a full mobility trainer that is sized for her. She doesn't have use of her arms or legs. And so, yeah, it fits her great. And it feels pretty good to like just be able to like make something that a family desperately needs and has had zero luck getting through insurance and our medical system here. And so, I think that's pretty impactful to just be able to bring them a wheelchair and say, here you go.
Talk about bringing the community together for something like that. Right. That's very special. Yeah, it is.
So it was a pretty special day. We spent about 2 weeks producing all the parts for the chair, and then the family came in. They brought about 15 family members in a big cookout and potluck, and kind of everybody celebrated and ate. And then the family actually assembled their daughter's wheelchair, which will be a great memory for them to take home too. So.
And something that you guys can take along on your journey too. I mean, just the range that you are able to produce, just from the creativity that folks have in there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yep. And it keeps continuing. Last Saturday we had a Boy Scout troop in, and they used the space to make their Pinewood Derby cars. And so they were able to like do all of the woodworking with adult supervision, of course. And then we actually have a Pinewood Derby track that we're able to set up so they can actually test their cars while they're there. Coming up this coming weekend, we have another big thing.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just nonstop. We just have events happening every single weekend there. It's really taken off.
And groups like that, the Boy Scouts and such, if people are watching this, listening to it and thinking, my child's group or homeschool group, what are the processes to get involved? Yeah.
They can kind of reach out. Yeah. So you mentioned homeschool, and I didn't realize until I was working in this lab in Muskegon how big that was. We literally had a day and a morning dedicated to homeschool. So maybe we can set up something like that. But yeah, if it's a Boy Scout troop or homeschool group, you want to do like maybe a private workshop or something like that, we can actually, funny story. Somebody at the Cub Scouts, a dad came over to me the other day, and he had his 10-year-old was there building his car, and he had a 6 or 7-year-old with him, baby brother. And he was like, would you guys ever think about doing a 3D printing themed birthday party? Wow. He's like, my kid, my 6-year-old really wanted a 3D printer for Christmas. And I was like, he told him like, you're 6, maybe when you're like 10. Yeah. And I was like, we could probably do that. Like we can make some little fun toys for him, stuff like that. So you got an idea. You're like, man, you think you want to do this? You could do this at the Makerspace, throw it at us, Grand River Makerspace.org, reach out on Facebook.
I love that. Yeah. Able to accommodate anyone.
Absolutely.
So love the creativity. Love that you brought everything for us to see and really get an idea of what you're doing. And I love your mission. Thank you guys so much for being part of this podcast. And we hope that if you were inspired by making something as well, you'll check them out. That's Chris and Josh over at the Grand River Makerspace. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of the Made in Walker podcast. If you have comments or questions about this podcast, or if you have suggestions for future episodes, we'd love to hear from you. Please drop us an email at podcast@walker.city. Made in Walker is the official podcast of the city of Walker, Michigan. You can find Made in Walker wherever you get your podcasts.